chosen today to put into our new pot. I've chosen because they are different heights to add some interest, as well as different textures and of course different colours. And obviously these green leaves are very different for the purple leaves. So we've got this, right, this is where I have to apologise for some of my pronunciation. So this is Hemerocallis. This is a really unusual one actually. The Hemerocallis is the daylily, and they can be very big blooms. But this one is like a mini bloom on it. So it's got these lovely like mahogany stems. And I think this one's called Corky. Yeah, this is, yeah, and we've got some very dainty little yellow flowers on this one. But I think the actual stems with those buds on it are actually quite beautiful in itself. I've also got here, this is a Verbena officinalis. This one particular variety is called Bampton. Lovely colours on there, they're very delicate little purple flowers. I've got a type of geranium here. This is, oh, here we go, a Pelargonium sidoides. I think I pronounced that right. Again, a very delicate flower, but there's a nice contrast in the leaf. It's almost like a silvery green on there. So I'll pop that in there. And then we've got the nice sort of squat, I get this one right, it's a Rhoda hypoxis. This particular one I believe is called Midori. Alright, so these are, have a little play with those, and I'm going to pop those into the pot, and they should flower for me most of the summer. So we've got our pot here. I'm just going to pop some of this pre-fertilised compost into the base. Give it a little shake to make sure there's no air gaps there, and then I'm ready to go in there. So I'm going to place, in this particular one, I'm going to place the tallest at the back. So just squeeze the pot gently and ease it out. This one's just had the roots are just starting to come out of the pot, and that's a perfect way really to buy, and you don't want matted roots at the bottom. And if you can't see any roots, you've just got to make sure that the plant has been in the pot long enough, so if you take it out, you really want to see a nice network of roots around there. And they also want to be, you know, a good colour as well. These are nice and healthy, these roots, but if they are like a brown and a bit squishy, it might mean they've not been looked after properly whilst they've been at the nursery. So this is nice and healthy. Okay, I'm just going to tease a couple of these roots out so they can get established as quickly as possible. So I'm going to place that to the back of the container. Whoop. Right here. Okay, when you're planting these, make sure that you're leaving a gap at the top. I'm going to just pop a little bit more soil on that. And the reason for that is if you plant them too high, when you're watering them, the water is just going to run off the pot. So you want to have them just sitting down about 1 centimetre so the water won't run off. Okay, so let's pop the Verbena in. Again, good root system on this. Squeeze it, bring it out. Okay, smaller root system on there. So I'm just going to place that. Just play around with that to the side. And then my Pelargonium. So take some of the leaves off, a little bit damaged, get over, and carefully with this one, this is a bit more delicate, squish that off. Delicate root system there, and I'm going to pop that here to the other side, and then little ones that are fun. So when you're planting pots, it's very easy sometimes to go with all the traditional flowers. Right, so there's, you see this one is wanting to spread. This is actually a clump forming plant. So when I finish with it in the pot, I will plant it out in the ground, and hopefully next year I'll let it romp through the beds. Okay, so I'll just pop that in the front. Yeah, so as I was saying, when you're planting up your pots, sometimes it's very easy just to stick with the traditional bedding plants, so those plants that last just the year. But there is such a wide range of plants out there, and a little bit of experimentation can bring some really different results. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fill that with the compost carefully. Just make sure use your fingers. Ooh. So tuck that down the sides, make sure there's no gaps. If you get gaps in there, there's a chance those roots could dry out. And we don't want that. Now I'm trying this pelargonium for the first time this year. I do really love the leaves in that, so if I want to keep that for next year, which I really do, and I'd like to propagate that to make some new plants from it, it will need to stay in the greenhouse over winter. It won't survive outside. It's a tender plant. All the others are absolutely fine outside, so they could stay in their pot over winter, or I could put them into the ground. And they'll be fine. Right, let's go into the middle. Okay, make sure you keep the soil level with the top of the plant. You don't want to, I mean, some plants do like to be buried deeply, like clematis or clematis, however you want to pronounce it. They're quite happy if you actually bury them a little bit deeper than how you bought them or how you propagated them. But most plants, you don't want to bury them, because that will start, that will make the stems rot if you put the stems underground. Right, I think, let's get the soil on that. Right, just check that all around. Make sure you've got that in nice and firmly. Okay, I turn that round there. Okay, so that's all there is to it. So I'm going to give that a good water around the base of the plants. I'm not going to water over the top of the plants, and just start it off really soaking it in. And that's really all we need to do, apart from keep that watered. It's got some slow release fertiliser in there, so that will keep it going through the growing season, and we just need to make sure it doesn't dry out. However, just one final thing, if you aren't using a slow release fertiliser, or your plants are looking a little bit tired and you think they need a boost, this is not my glass of Coke or my Guinness, there is another type of fertiliser you can use. This is a nice organic fertiliser. This is liquid seaweed, and this can be added to a whole range of plants as a general tonic. You just follow the instructions, one capful normally to about 4 litres of water, and that can go on as a weekly feed. A lovely organic way of keeping your plants in tip-top condition. But this should be absolutely fine with the fertiliser that's in there already, and hopefully all summer long that will give me a lovely display of flowers.